Hey, what is up? Welcome to Dharma Time. I am your host, the Dharma Guy, and we're here as always with the Dope Doctor, and we are both coming to you live on WPSN99.com, which is the problem-solving network. And we do what here?
Stream solutions.
Look at that, Johnny on the spot with the tagline.
Even though while I'm trying to look for your level to be right, because now you're all of a sudden talking real.
Oh no, I'm
like you're on a jazz station all of a sudden.
The quiet storm.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god. Anyways, what's up, man? We were as always. It's like a miniature
right before
crisis every single time we go.
It's always like that.
It's awesome.
That's the way it is.
I think that's how we operate best.
Yeah, I mean, look, real radio people know it best, because when you do radio, it's like you're like in a conversation or normal arguing or whatever, and the next thing you know is, hey, welcome. It's just boom, you just go right into it.
That's right, man.
It's just the way it is.
One monkey don't stop the show.
No.
All right.
When the clock reads on, you're just on.
Exactly.
When it says on air, you're literally on air.
So now, perform, monkey.
Yeah, dance, monkey, dance.
Get my little cymbals out. Ching, ching, ching.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, well, speaking of that, let's quickly sell some soap.
All right.
We got some sponsors we'd like to thank to help us do this on a continuous basis. First of which is going to be Journey Pure Behavior. Whoa! Did I just mix them both together like that? Wow, that's awesome. So we got the Retreat Behavior Health.
Yep.
And then we have Journey Pure, and I just kind of combine them.
Yeah.
Well, you know why I combine them? Because they're both such great facilities.
That's
why I combine them.
That's what it is.
That's exactly what that was.
If you needed treatment for substance abuse or mental health issues for retreats.
That's right.
But substance abuse.
And then we got Orange County Drug Free Coalition, which we will be having another meeting on Thursday. Looking forward to that one.
Right on.
Because we have our recovery run and walk coming up in September that we'll be discussing.
Run?
Some people run it, some people walk it.
No, we're not running anymore.
No, we're not going to promote the run, but I guarantee you it's what, Lake Yola, right? There'll be people running.
We're not running it.
No, I'm not running. I'm not even going to walk.
No, it's not. We're not running it. The run is over. It's now turned into a full walk.
For us, yes.
No, for anyone.
Now, there will be people there who aren't there for our event running.
Yes.
It's Lake Yola. There's always people there.
Oh, I see what you mean. All right.
Because there was some last time. Remember those guys were with the chains and stuff? They're running around they had like a log. They were running around.
Oh, the Jesus Cares thing?
No, I think they were training for CrossFit or something.
The CrossFitters.
Yeah, they were all running. They had chains and they had a log and they would shift it or whatever. They had nothing to do with us.
I thought I was on the movie The Warriors there for a second. And like a gang of workout monsters was attacking us.
But anyways, I digress. Back to our other sponsors real quickly. We have Now Matters More Foundation.
Right.
And you can check us out at nowmattersmore.org, or you can call 833-NOW-MATTERS to find out everything that we do, help, support, donate, things of that nature. Right. And then last but not least, we have Sport Subaru South, which is one of our newer sponsors. And they are helping us out in a big way, because from November 15th to December 31st, they have an event called Share the Love. And essentially what that means is every car that they sell within that time frame, they themselves will donate $250 per car, and then Subaru will match that. So $500 per car purchased from them between November 15th and December 31st. So that's pretty cool, man. I think we should have somebody on and during that event to talk about it.
Well, yeah, we'll have to have Josh Snell on from
right.
over there.
And then, yes, Rebecca Benton just commented on our live stream that Recovery Month is coming up.
What's up, Rebecca? How you doing? And well, you know why she's saying that, right?
Because the Couch Live is going to be on UCF campus doing the Stanford game. So I'm looking forward to that. We're going to have
a tailgate party.
Yeah, we're going to have Fred Stokes with us from the Redskins. We're going to have Vance Johnson with us from the Broncos. A lot of cool things happening.
I mean, they're both retired. They're not active.
But once you're a Redskin, you're always a Redskin, right? You got a Super Bowl ring, so
that's right.
You're a champ forever.
Right.
I can't take that from you.
That's right. Vance Johnson's not a champ.
Is he? I don't know if did he win a ring with him?
I don't think they won.
I don't know.
No, he was no.
Because Elway didn't get his until the end of the career, so
yeah, and I don't remember when Vance. We'll see. We'll see if he has a ring on.
Yeah, we'll ask.
Where's your ring, Vance?
Well, make sure we ask him in front of Fred.
In front of Fred.
Where's your ring?
Fred, show me your ring.
Let's compare rings real quick.
Let's compare rings.
But anyways, all right. So now we got all that out of the way.
Not that I even have a helmet. Well,
sure.
Let's move on.
Yeah. So talk about today's show, right? Talking about your inner alley cat.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are going to read that and try to figure out what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So for anybody who just doesn't know exactly, for anybody who's never heard that phrase before, alley cat, I think, is the opposite of Garfield. Right? Because Garfield is a big, fat, lazy cat, just sits in the house all day, and he's trying to find the laziest way to get everything done. The exact opposite would be Heathcliff. I think wasn't he an alley cat?
Yeah.
Yeah, Heathcliff.
No, Heathcliff was an alley cat.
I think so.
I don't know.
It's been a long time.
I don't know my.
It's been a long time since
my
I've seen
caricatures or whatever they're called.
Rebecca says she's a tiger. That's awesome. But no, so alley cat essentially is just the cat that lives out in the city streets and the alleys. It's got to like fight for its food. It's a survivor, right?
It's a survivor.
Every day it wakes up, if it even sleeps much, it's gonna survive.
You sleep during the day.
Yeah, all day long is just it's a battle for survival. Everything is out to hurt you or be eaten by you, basically.
Right.
So is this food or am I its food? And do I need to protect myself? Do I need to fight? Do I need to run?
It's basically a tiger in the city.
Yeah, basically. It's a little miniature tiger.
Right.
And for all intents and purposes, it has to be that. Because, you're a cat. You're not really the top of the food chain. The dogs should come along and get you.
God, anybody.
I mean, to the mouse, you're probably the top of the food chain.
That's it.
But that's
a cricket.
Yeah, as a
lizard.
As a cat, you can literally be eaten or hurt by almost everything around you.
So much.
And so it's like a constant, it's like a war zone.
Although our little kitty cat is outdoors and it adopted us, and that kitty cat, as sweet as it may be, left a friggin' rabbit in our grass with its neck completely eaten.
Holy shit.
Dude, it was nasty.
It caught a rabbit?
Dude, it not only caught the rabbit, it was sitting there feasting on the rabbit when Dana and my youngest walked
That's
outside.
Like some Pet Cemetery crap right there.
And Dana said that was a little freaky because it's such a sweet cat.
Wow.
It was a sweet cat. But it's
got an inner alley cat.
It's an alley cat, bro. It's a hunter, and it didn't like when I took it and buried it. It was like looking around, like you need to bring that back right here.
Wow, that's funny.
Like real domestic cats would have left you the prize like on the doorstep for you.
Yeah.
No, this one stashed it somewhere else and was just like, why did you take it? I didn't bring it to you. I had it where I eat.
You got a
rabbit, bro. How you catch a rabbit?
I pictured like mouse or something. That's a rabbit?
Rabbit. Rabbit.
Wow. Is this...
And not a little bunny.
Is it like a bobcat or something? Or is this like a regular cat?
It's a big cat. It's a long-legged cat, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
It's like a... What do they call the macaroons? I don't know what it's called.
And it adopted us. That's not my cat. I still refuse to call it my cat. It's been a year, and I still...
It's crazy.
But Dana feeds it.
So, anyway, that's a kind of a good example there of what we're talking about. Is it's a metaphor, obviously. Right. I don't think we actually have a cat inside of us, but this idea, though, because I think...
some people are acting like little kitties right now.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of us as human beings, we at the end of the day, we have a survival mechanism.
Right.
And sometimes we get in situations where it's like a fight or flight type deal.
For real.
And most of us at some point or another have learned how to fight,
Right.
And I don't mean necessarily physical fight. I mean, obviously that is included within this discussion.
Yeah.
But I think what we're going to focus most of our time on today is that emotional fight, right? Yeah. The arguing, the fighting, the defensiveness, the aggressive, that kind of stuff, right?
Bigger than anything, the defensiveness, looking at everything as if it's a fight.
Yes.
Right.
Looking at everything
because that's what alley cats. I mean, they're constantly on the defensive.
Yeah, they're always thinking like, I've got to protect myself.
Yeah, you make a little noise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they don't trust anything. They even if you have food, they'll slowly come up if they come up at all. Right. They might just wait until you leave and eat. If not, well then screw it. I'm not that hungry then.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of what we're talking about, right? And so we all have that. I know I have mine. You've probably seen it at times, maybe, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I saw. I think I've seen yours. I don't know if I would call it alley cat. It was a subdued alley cat when we had Q. Remember with Q?
Oh.
That was like one of the few moments that I've seen that we've had any sort of like conflict, I guess, approach us.
Yeah, only because you did this smooth. Like, I'm just gonna walk over here and just.
I want to know.
Let me get out. Let me get out of the room for a second.
Yeah, I want to know part of that.
Yeah.
But I know I have mine, and I know you have. We both have come from street lifestyles.
Yeah.
So you can't make it on the streets without having that ability to turn that on when you need to.
Right.
But I know for me.
By the way, would you have been a witness? Or would you have? I didn't see anything.
I didn't see shit, man.
Okay, we're good.
I was gone. I walked out the room.
I like what you did. You left no witnesses.
Exactly.
I like that.
But no.
And Q, by the way, you're still a punk.
Yeah.
But this is Dharma Time. I forgive you.
Hey. I forgive you for being a punk.
He definitely has. He doesn't have an alley cat. He has the other cat.
I don't know what he has. He has like a
He's
a
a pussy cat.
He has a rabbit that identifies as a cat.
He's definitely a pussy cat.
But all right. So I like, for me, for instance, right? I could talk about myself in the sense of I know that it was hard for me to quote unquote tame my inner alley cat. And I think there are those of us who have had maybe a rougher upbringing, or spent any significant time in a situation where you had to kind of live that lifestyle.
Yeah,
I think it's very hard to learn how to turn it off. How to be domesticated when you need to be.
Well, of course.
And actually, Rebecca, her typing on here makes me think of another great example is military.
Oh my God!
People who go off to war.
Oh yeah.
They're bringing their inner alley cat. Like, it's kill or be killed. You got to do what you got to do. Everything could be an IED. You don't know friend or foe. Like, you're constantly on edge. And then when you come back going to Walmart, it's very difficult to look at that cashier in front of you who's being kind of rude and not think, I'm going to kill you right now. Like, it can be hard for some people to make that transition back to civilian life.
No, they're like Black Panthers that are now having to be an alley cat.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? I'm not eating everybody?
Well, I mean, think about that for a second, right?
Okay, I'll just eat for food.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a hard thing to, I think, transition from. You're in a situation where it's not even metaphorical anymore. It's literally kill or be killed.
Yeah,
like, you're having to fire at people who are trying to kill you at the moment. Right. At any given moment, at any given day, you could die, or your friends could die, or something horrific can take place to you. And then transition back to, I gotta go pick up milk at the store, and deal with people who are going to cut me off and
doing real stupid shit.
Yeah, just doing dumb things that you could have shot somebody for over there. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very, I gotta imagine anyways, that's a very hard transition to make.
It's the quality of your problems kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, this is stressful to you? The fact, look, I'm sorry. I accidentally got in your lane. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If that's going to make you flick me, bro, you don't know who you're flicking off right now. Why don't you just keep driving?
Yeah, I've got 144 confirmed kills.
Right. I'm really, I'm a sniper.
Yeah. So I think for me, though, I wasn't at war, obviously, or that kind of war. I was in my own little war. I was on the streets and dealing with stuff.
Right.
And so for me, that was part of my maturation process, was learning that not everything was a battle that needed to be fought.
Right.
Learning that not everything was out against me. Learning that I didn't have to see conflict in every situation. Right? Sometimes somebody was just saying something, and I didn't have to look at that as, you're doing this to me. No, you're just living your life, and I'm just watching it right now.
You took people being an asshole as being personal to you.
Yeah. I used to think that, why are you doing this to me? And then realize that you're not doing it to me. You're just doing it, and I'm experiencing it.
Yeah.
But you're not doing it to me.
Yeah.
In other words, if Joe Blow was standing in the same position, you'd be responding the exact same way. It's not me. It's not like they woke up and, well, when I say Trinity today at 7-Eleven, I'm going to... No, it was just, I'm in my day. I'm in my head. I'm having a hard time dealing with things. You just so happen to be in front of me and doing something that I'm just not prepared to handle at the moment, and I'm going to give you something.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with you. And so,
or I was not thinking at the moment.
Yeah.
A lot of people get flicked off and yelled at for just being absent-minded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm absent-minded sometimes.
Yeah.
So I have to allow other people to be absent-minded sometimes. They went off somewhere else or whatever, and some people get really frustrated with that. I know I used to.
I used to.
Road rage was I'm going to still put that as in the is category, but only with a parentheses.
An asterisk.
Was parentheses sometimes is my hardest one to deal with.
Yeah, I used to have problems with that.
Only because I feel sometimes I still feel like they intended to put me at risk. And when they intended to put me at risk, I have a hard time convincing myself that wasn't really their intention.
Well, that is a very hard thing, though, I think, for a lot of people. And it is a microcosm of the bigger picture. Right? Because in all reality, that person that is upset with you on the road or is cutting you off, they don't know you. They've never met you. They don't know anything about you. They're on their own path to get to where they got to go. And you either impeded upon that or they impeded upon yours.
Yeah.
And instantly it becomes personal. Instantly it becomes, you did this to me.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. They were just trying to go where they got to go, and they either didn't see you and cut you off, or they did see you and they didn't think that you were in the right place to cut you off.
Right.
But we instantly take that as in like a personal attack. Like they called you out personally and was like, I'm going to do this to you.
Well, that's why I have to then, when I get cut off on the road by some person, I have to go find a Dharma Guy podcast, a Dharma Time podcast, so I don't chase them down.
Which you can find on YouTube, so your app on iPhone.
Exactly. So I don't run them down and run them off the road and be like, hey. Or wish them, like, I hope you die in the future.
Wow.
Like, that's a little bit overboard, right?
It's just a small bit.
So I don't want those thoughts. I don't want those thoughts.
But I think that is a hard
Now
thing.
I just wish that they get a ticket. And even that's negative.
That's horrible. But I think that's something we all as human beings struggle with is learning to discern the difference, right? Learning when we're supposed to be an alley cat and when we're supposed to be domesticated.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the secret, right? Like, I think most of us internally, our status quo kind of is domesticated. Like, we kind of want to be Garfield. We kind of just all want to,
I think most people are domesticated.
Unbothered, left alone, whatever.
Right.
I mean, you have the people who've learned how to be more of an alley cat out of necessity, but I think at our baseline is domesticated. And I think that we have to kind of lean more towards our baseline. And so for me, I try to maintain domesticated as much as possible. And I try to choose very wisely. I try.
Right.
I don't always make it, but I try to choose when I let the alley cat out.
Try, that word.
Yeah, well, I'm not always successful.
Mm-hmm.
Some days I'm more skillful than others. And if you ask my wife, I'm probably less skillful than others sometimes, but whatever.
That is.
But no, I think, but I see it a lot though, right? Like I see even with my own children, my two little ones. The two of them will be like in their own little worlds trying to do something, and maybe like one of them will step over the other one, and accidentally, like my daughter's got like long hair, for instance, right? And so she'd be on the floor doing something, and her hair is long, so it's everywhere. And then maybe Trinity's trying to get to where he wants to get. He steps over her, and maybe he accidentally steps on her hair, and it pulls it a little bit. Yeah. So instead of her looking at from a domesticated perspective, saying, "Oh, well, he obviously was just stepping over. My hair is hard to miss. He accidentally did it. It's no big deal. Right. Move on with your day." She takes the alley cat approach more often than not, and it's the "Ow! Why'd you do that?" And she'll try to push him or whatever. It's like this. It's instant attack.
Right.
And I'm like, "Hey, wait a minute." He accidentally did that. I saw it happen. No, he did it on purpose. Like, no, baby, he didn't. Like, he was just trying to step over you. But I think sometimes with the two of them, they get so used to kind of antagonizing one another that they get stuck in that alley cat mode where everything's a fight, everything's a problem, everything's aggression.
Right. And I mean, at that point, it's like, baby, have you ever seen Rocky? Rocky's your smaller dog, right?
Yes.
Like, have you ever accidentally made Rocky yelp? Like, have your kids ever accidentally made Rocky yelp?
That dog lives under our feet, so yes.
Okay, so does Rocky hold a grudge and then get mad at them for the next 2 hours?
No, he yelps and then immediately puts his tail between his legs and comes up
and wants love.
Yes.
So that's a good way to give them an example of say, look, did you mean to hurt Rocky?
Yeah.
Rocky doesn't take it personally. Rocky knows it was an accident. But Rocky wants cuddling now because it did hurt.
Although Rocky's an old bastard. He's an old and angry.
Well, then don't use that as an example. I try to give you an example to help your kids.
I'm just saying he might actually hold it. I don't know. That dog's...
He's probably got a lot of grudges. No, he takes it out all on Apollo, which is a pit bull, and then gets his butt kicked later by the pit bull.
Big time.
Yeah.
But anyways, but I think, I think the first step, though, is we all have to kind of acknowledge that, right? Like, I think that's where it starts. I think everybody has to acknowledge that they have an inner alley cat.
I think you have to acknowledge. First of all, I think you have to acknowledge that if you're listening to this podcast, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to this on WPSN99.com, the radio station, then you know that you are a domesticated animal.
Yeah.
So
you're not in the jungle right at the moment.
Nobody listening to this broadcast lives 24/7 alley.
No.
All right.
No. If you're listening to this and you're at like war right now, then like thanks, I guess, like duck,
Well, no, I'm not talking about the war, but I'm just talking about the alley, like like people like on the street, living to survive.
Yeah, you're not.
If you have the luxury of having an iPhone or an iPad or a computer,
you're doing quite well for yourself.
You're not an alley cat.
You're the homeless person the other homeless people look up to.
You're just walking around like your old alley. You still thinking you're an alley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like when I'm talking to my old friends and stuff, and all my slang comes back, and then you realize, damn, dude,
you live in a suburb. Stop.
You were domesticated, bro. Stop.
Exactly.
You gotta be able to dip in and dip out without just living like that. You know what I mean?
But no, I mean that's a great point. If you're listening to this, if you've got a job, if you have a home, if you have a roof over your head, if you're not an alley cat.
If your account is in double figures.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have at least $10.
Yeah, you're domesticated.
You're domesticated.
Yeah. Now, but
somebody out there's going, great, I got $9. I'm an alley cat now.
Yeah. But no, I mean, you're domesticated. I agree.
Yeah.
But we all have that alley cat in us, right? I mean, there's varying degrees, obviously. Some people are more vicious than others, I guess.
Right.
More have the ability to go deeper. That's usually because you've got more trauma and pain that you're able to dig into. But either way, we all have it. And I think that's the first step is admitting that you do have it.
So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
What happens when you take an alley cat? When you've lived as an alley cat, you're lived as a survivor. You're a victim of abuse, a victim of circumstances that were not in your control when you were younger, whatever. Now you get in a domestic situation. How do you feel about when you take that alley cat and now you try to go in a domestic situation and you forget that you're in a domestic situation? How does that look?
Well, I would say,
how does that complicate your life a little bit?
How's it complicated?
Yeah.
Well, I think that oftentimes it can make you think, using the same analogy as a cat, that good Samaritan that decided to bring that can of tuna to you, right. They're not trying to hurt you. They're just trying to give you some can of tuna because they see a cat. They're like, hey, I want to help. Mm-hmm. But to the alley cat, from the alley cat perspective, that's a threat.
Right.
Like that's a threat. They're going to hurt me or whatever. And so in a real world scenario, that person who is maybe on your team or who wants to see you do well or who has good intentions, oftentimes you can view that as a threat. And I think that's.
You mean like in a workplace or something like that?
In a workplace, it could be any situation, man. Workplace, relationships, business. Anytime you're dealing with another human being, you're going to come from the approach of defense first.
Right.
And the best defense is what? A good offense, typically. So I think that you'll see things as attacks that aren't necessarily attacks because you get stuck in that mode, Yeah. To go back to the military thing, IEDs are all over the place. Like they're literally like on the roads, buried that you can't see. So every foot while you're driving, you got to worry, is this going to blow up in front of me? So you are on such edge where
alert
everywhere you look is potential threat. So it's hard to then kind of distinguish between the two at times. But if you have that same mentality while you're going to Walmart, to go buy milk today, then that person who maybe comes a little bit too close to you in line could be a threat. In all reality, they're probably not. They probably just don't have the same spatial awareness as you do, and they're just kind of maybe too close. But if you're coming from the perspective of everybody's out to get me, that person too close that just bumped into you, you're going to beat the hell out of them.
And it's not a healthy level of anxiety.
No.
Being on high alert at all times is not very.
I'm dying today, by the way.
I hear that. It's not great for your system.
No.
Because you do have, the mechanisms within your brain to respond when you go on high alert. But the reason it's so difficult when you come off of that is because it's draining on your mental power. I don't want to get into the chemistry of it, but when you go from high alert to not high alert, it's just there's just a decompressing. There's just a time where you just need to just relax and get off of that because the system is just tense.
Well, that's like that. The sympathetic nervous system.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't want to get into it because it's like but just go from tense to now you just got to relax. Yeah. So some of you are walking around tense.
Well, I mean, in all reality, what that was intended to do was, hey, there's a saber-toothed tiger in front of me. Am I going to run or am I going to try to defend myself? Yeah. And something tells me that situation is not going to last very long.
Right.
You're either going to run, get away from it very quickly, or you're going to fight and either win or lose very quickly.
Yeah.
And then all's done.
Yeah.
You're not going to battle this saber-toothed tiger for an 8-hour day.
Right.
It's meant to go on for like just a few minutes, maybe 20 minutes tops, and you're done. But the lifestyles that we live sometimes makes that last all day long.
And you're definitely not supposed to wake up at 3 a.m. and go, and another thing.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
But
have you ever been... No, I'm not going to Dana's done that to me before. Dana's done that to me. Dana, I know if you're watching or listening. Dana's woken up before, in the younger years, and woke me up at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to tell me something else she was mad about. I'm like, really? You woke me up in the middle of the night because you've been up since then? Because she hated that I was able to go to sleep after. Like, how can you sleep after that? I'm like, because I can.
Right.
I got to do something tomorrow. And she's like, no. Don't wake me up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning because you think of something else. Get it all
well,
out.
I think that, but what we don't realize is the lifestyles that we lead put us in that, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Let's say you sleep in past your alarm and you start to panic that, oh gosh, I'm going to be late. Starts the process.
Right.
Oh, all this traffic is irritating me. All these people are in my way. Starts the process. Like, they're not in your way. They're just doing what they're doing. You're the one that's in a rush, not them. Yeah. Then you get to work and your boss is like, oh, you're 5 minutes late. What happened? Oh, keeps the process going. Next thing you know, at the end of the day, you've been in that process all day long. And now you're in this heightened defensive mode where everything around me is trying to impact my day. No, they're not, actually. Though everybody's just doing their thing. You're the one that's in that heightened state. And that's you're bringing your inner alley cat to a situation it doesn't need to be in.
Yeah.
They
don't share. Alley cats don't share.
No, they don't.
They don't share the road. They don't share food. They don't share time. They don't share anything. They go for theirs.
Yes.
Because they fear that it's going to go away.
Yeah, well, and they have to, right? I mean, that's how they've survived. And make no mistake, I've said this in groups and stuff before, as far as happiness and stuff is concerned. The same, the things that make us great at survival are great for surviving, but they're not great for being happy. They're really not.
And we can both be happy.
Yeah.
Happiness is not one of those things. Only one person can have it.
No, there's not a finite
I got to take yours from it because only one person can have it.
No,
we can share happiness.
Yes, there's no finite amount. It's never ending. Actually,
some people act like I got to get my happiness. And, screw you.
Like crabs in a barrel, baby.
It's like happiness is not a singular object.
No, it's not. But no, I think so that I think the first thing that people got to do is they got to admit that they have it, right?
Because you're in an alley cat, or what? Yeah.
Because I think what happens a lot of times. And I'm guilty of it, right? I'm guilty of not being aware of how I'm coming off at times. Right. Like before we went on, you told me that sometimes I can present as angry even though I'm not.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think that a lot of times we have to we got to leave room for error, right? And I think that's I don't want to discount that phrase. We got to leave room for error. Mm-hmm. When we start to speak in absolute terms, we kind of forget that truth isn't absolute. Truth is subjective. And so if I'm saying absolutely there is no possible way that I'm doing this, you're kind of pigeonholing yourself in a corner there. And God, I am dying today.
Yeah, you are. You have water? You get a drink right there.
I have some drink here. But anyways, so we have to leave room for error. Like intent versus interpretation, right? What I said versus what you heard. Right. And so I think that sometimes we don't realize that if we're used to coming from an approach of defensiveness or alley cat, if you will, like everything's a threat to me, then I'm going to respond to everything that is a threat. I might not realize that's what I'm doing because I'm just so used to living that lifestyle that's just where I'm at. That's my habit.
Right.
But in all reality, maybe you're not coming off that way. Like, so for instance, for me, I'm used to the majority of my life being just an aggressive, angry person. I wasn't that peachy, smiley, like, hey, everybody. Like, that just wasn't me. And so sometimes, even I'm in a good mood, but maybe I'm just kind of detached at the moment or my mind is elsewhere. Right. I have to be aware of the fact that I could be offending people around me because they might think, well, what's wrong with him? Maybe he's in a bad mood.
Or concerning people.
Yeah. And so I'm like...
And that's probably going to happen more often than offending. You're going to, more often than not, just concern people.
Yeah.
And are they doing something wrong? Are they part of the issue? Do you not like them?
Right.
Something.
Sure. Mm-hmm. And so I think that people have to be aware of just that little margin of error of my perception isn't absolute.
Right.
There's other perceptions out there.
Yeah.
And those perceptions have merit at times. Now, if it's the stranger down the street, I don't give them as much merit. Loved ones, friends, family, coworkers, I give them a little bit more merit because they see me more often and things of that nature.
Well, what you're talking about now is resting bitch face, and I got a resting bitch face.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I do. I've been told that I do.
Right. But I'm talking more about, like when you are seriously just not well.
Right.
You're thinking something. You're feeling something. You're walking around like an alley cat sometimes.
Right.
Let's say you're mad at something else. Let's say Dana and I. Let's say she woke me up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning last night. And so what? The next day I got to walk around like an alley cat all day.
No.
No. I mean, maybe I'll go home and like fight her a little bit, but when you're walking around in your normal day, like don't be one to me,
right?
Kind of thing, right? Yeah. So I got to go out there and I got to be a domesticated. I got to, I know, purr.
We got to play the role.
Yeah, and so I think all too often there's individuals out there that go into domestic situations, calm situations, loving situations, and they hype it up. They stir it up. So they go to work.
How so?
Well, I think someone takes a home problem and they go to work and they make it a work problem.
Right.
And maybe it's not a work problem.
Right.
Or the opposite. You had a fight at work, had a problem with somebody at work. Then you come home and you make it crappy at home.
Yeah. I used to, when I worked for the Postal Service, I would do that.
Oh, I bet. That's why you quit.
Yeah. Things would upset me at my house. I'd come in and I was just like, I was ready. Like,
that's a perfect example.
Give me a reason.
Right. It's this is not the alley. Yeah. That was the alley.
Yeah. and that's where I was at. I was like, that whole I wish somebody would kind of mentality.
Yeah.
And the thing with that mentality is I found plenty of them.
Right.
Even people who weren't intending to do that. Right. Oh, I found it because that's what I was looking for.
Right.
I was in that alley cat mode. And so when you're in alley cat mode, whether it factually is or isn't, in your mind, it's a threat.
Well, have you ever pet a cat and you're being all soft and it's purring, all of a sudden it just grabs you with its freaking claws and bites you?
That would be the cat that we have at the house.
That pisses me off. It's like, I was just petting you, you little bastard.
Yes. That's the cat I have at my house.
Some of them do that.
Her name
is
Coco.
Know, and they don't.
And Coco at the house, which is my wife's cat when she brought in there, was an alley cat.
Yeah.
And that is the meanest, nastiest.
That's the way they play.
She's like bipolar, man.
Yeah.
Like,
they love it. They love it. But then something triggers in their mind.
Yeah.
And they just get possessive. It's like, you're a little bit too aggressive there, son.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think some humans, when they do that, it gets not only misinterpreted, but sometimes maybe you're wrong. Maybe you need to apologize for what you did. Maybe you got to realize, you know what, I didn't mean to throw daggers at you right now. I didn't mean to attack you right now. I mean, first of all, we have to do a show on more shows on apologies, because apologies are the things that just I think we all kind of really suck at, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Even people that apologize a lot, even some of you suck at it because your apologies mean nothing when you
do it all the time.
When you do it all the time, and then some of you never do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, throw the dog a bone a little bit,
Yeah,
But
I agree. I think we should.
Yeah.
I think we've done a show similar to that, but yeah.
Yeah.
And
you can always use more shows on apologies.
Of course. I think.
I'm sorry for taking us off topic.
No, this is all the same topic, man.
I'm sorry.
How many times do you think an alley cat apologizes? Because that's the problem, right? Was the reason why. There we go. That's a great segue.
Yeah.
The reason why I think that the alley cat response is dangerous or whatever, or not conducive to domesticated lifestyle, is you feel justified.
Right.
As an alley cat feels justified in everything that it does, because in the past, those situations caused it to lose meat or whatever it was, or sleep, whatever.
Yeah.
So they felt justified.
Right.
And so the problem with that mentality is when you approach it from that perspective without leaving any room for error, like maybe you misread it or maybe you overreacted, you do feel justified. And when you feel justified, you're less likely to apologize, because why would you apologize if you think you did the right thing?
Right.
And that's the thing is maybe in your mind you did do the right thing, but maybe you're coming from a fractured perspective. Maybe your perspective was jaded slightly, and so everything from that perspective kind of was slightly off. You know what I mean? Like if I'm in a hyped up situation, I'm definitely less reasonable than I am if I'm just sitting on the couch minding my business.
Right.
And so, if one of my kids, here we go, I'm wise enough at this point to where if I'm outside doing something, whatever, and I get hyped up for whatever reason, I don't know, something happens and I'm hyped up.
Yeah.
And one of my kids were to come to me for advice, I'm at the point in my life right now where I would probably tell them, give me a couple minutes, because I wouldn't want to give them advice right then. Because any advice I gave him right then is going to be a very aggressive, very
scrum up.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And so I would be aware enough to say, you know what, let me calm down a little bit, and I'll address that later.
Yeah.
Because when you're in that alley cat mode, everything's a threat.
Yeah.
Even when it's not, like, you're going to see threats. And so I think that is part of the problem, is it can create more drama than it actually solves. When you're on the streets, when you're in a situation that's called for, absolutely, alley cat away. It's survival mode at that point. Right. But when you're in a domestic situation, like you said, it calls for domesticated ideals. It calls for, like, hold up, let me figure out a way to get back to status quo here.
And survival mode is not a virtue. It's not a virtue to be distrusting. It's not a virtue to not believe in others. Yeah. Those are things that you've learned through pain. Through life circumstances that didn't go your way.
It's funny you should say that, though, because I've seen that. I see it so much, like on my Facebook timeline, right? I see so many people bragging about how brash and how injured they are, basically. Like, let's just call a duck a duck.
Yeah.
Look at all the pain that I have. You know, look at all the trauma that I have in my life. And while, I'm sorry that you went through that, but that's not a badge of honor. That's something you shouldn't have gone through. A badge of honor is coming through the other side of it healed. Coming out the other side of that still in pain is not something to be proud of.
No, they brag to not trust others.
Yeah. Like you're injured still. Like you haven't coming through it. We need to change that definition, right? Like you're still in it. You didn't come through it. Coming through it implies that you've healed on the other end of that thing.
Right.
And if you're still approaching things from that perspective, you didn't heal. You're still living in it right now.
Right.
And so, no, it's not something to be proud of about not trusting others and seeing danger everywhere and things of that nature. Like, that's not something to be proud of. That's not a badge of honor.
My trust issues have made it difficult to connect with other people on a deeper level. I've had to work through those trust issues.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
Of not, but still to this day, Mom, if you're watching this, my mother still says, you trust people too much. She doesn't say it like that, by the way. When I do voices, it's not the first.
Yeah, your mom doesn't sound like an old.
No, my wife always tells me that. She goes, "Why do you always make me sound like Marge Simpson?" I say, "Because when I'm upset with you, that's what I hear." No, Dana, you do not sound like Marge Simpson. But what I'm saying is, in my family, it's not called trust issues. It's a virtue to not trust.
Yeah.
I was raised to you don't trust other people. And I'm sorry, Mom, but I'm raising my kids differently. That you can trust other people.
Yeah, until
and I realize why my mom said it.
Right.
And it makes sense for her and other things, but it doesn't make sense in my life because unfortunately I'm unable to do it the way she has, and it be successful for me. When I do it, it leaves me to be disconnected from other people, and so it bothers my internal happiness.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there was
I need to let Dana in. I need to let people in. I need to feel connected.
Well, there's a difference between street cred and peace.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I used to value street cred. I used to value the idea that I'm the roughest, toughest dude and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Like, and that was great for the lifestyle I was living.
Yeah, I'm willing to do what you won't.
Yeah, but right now, I'm trying to live a lifestyle of peace and happiness and prosperity. Like, I'm trying to, make myself and those around me happier and joyful.
Right.
And so street cred isn't conducive to that.
Also, you're trying to evolve.
Yeah.
We're called evolution. It's evolution. It's not devolving.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, nowhere in science has it says, we've devolved. It's only like humans that look at the way the world is and goes, oh, look how horrible we are as human beings.
Yeah.
Look how we've destroyed the planet. Look how look. No, dude, it's evolution. And evolution sometimes may appear as a negative.
Yeah.
But for the overall picture, I guarantee you it's still evolution.
Of course.
In other words, we may no longer be part of the future plan, or we're supposed to evolve to get the hell out of here by then.
Nostalgia always looks good through rose glasses, man.
Oh, man, just people, this doom and gloom and the sky's falling crap I just can't take. Everybody's always, the sky's falling, the sky's falling. Then you know what? Go to school and figure out how to get me off this planet.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, I'm guilty of it, though, in the sense of I valued street cred. There was a point in my life that I would actively seek out those individuals that had the most street cred, like the people who did have that very standoffish kind of like screw you attitude and stuff. I valued that in myself, and
my friends
valued that in other people.
Yeah.
But where I'm at now in my life, that's the real woke as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
The real woke isn't worrying about Little Mermaid and what color she is. The real woke is, it's not worth my time to have this fight. You know what I mean? Like, that's the real woke. The real woke is I've reached a point in my life where I'm not going to fight like that. I don't need to bring my alley cat out in these situations. That's the real woke.
The real woke is hate is hate.
Yeah, and at the end of the day,
which is a past Dharma Guy episode. Dharma Time.
It was a couple weeks ago, actually.
Yeah.
But that's the real woke. Like, I'm going to argue for the most part, unless you're at an actual war, there really is no need for the alley cat. Because the alley cat's not going to get you. It's not productive. It's not going to help.
There's plenty of cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no need for the alley cat. So it's actually the real evolution is realizing that there's no need for the alley cat anymore.
And in a relationship, I love you, so stop. You know what I mean?
I love you too, man.
It's like, let me be an ass right now. But when it's over, I love you. And look, I ain't going nowhere. You're not going nowhere. Let's just stop scratching each other. Because really, we're just and then
two cats in the street.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Have you ever heard that outside?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Right? I don't know if they're making love or they're fighting. I don't know the
fighting.
difference.
I hear fighting.
But damn it, man. When I hear two cats outside, it's like, sounds like babies are being attacked.
It sounds horrible. Absolutely horrible. And in that situation, totally called for.
Yeah, I think.
Like,
I
go
think,
for it.
I think whatever they're fighting over might be justified.
It sounds very serious.
My rabbit, damn it.
Yeah, like, I'm going to live today.
Yeah.
But we're
that damn
domesticated.
rabbit thought he could hop on my lawn.
We're domesticated, bro. We can just stop at like McDonald's on the way here.
You know, I had to look at the rabbit. You know, we feed you, right? You eat Rachel Ray, for Christ's sake, not just regular cat food.
What?
I buy you Rachel Ray special organic grain, non-grain, whatever the freaking cat food. So you don't have to go eat a rabbit, cat.
I laugh because I do the same for my dogs. My dogs have grain-free, like,
dude, I hate
buffalo.
that. The fact that I now know there's grain-free dog food.
Yeah.
I mean, I go there and I'm like, Dana says you got to pick up dog food, right? I go there and I look and I go, when did that become a thing? You know, grain-free. I thought it was all supposed to be grain.
And it's not supposed to be byproduct either.
Oh, dude,
it's got to be meal.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
That's how domesticated
that's
we
all
are.
different. We're so domesticated. I buy the foo-fooish food for my animals.
Yes.
I mix the hard with the soft. Mix it up. I mean, it's next. If I start cooking,
you mix it up, or they do?
Sometimes I do.
Really?
I did
in
last
your
night.
little robe.
I am in my robe when I do it. I am in my robe, damn it.
God,
dude, I'm proud to wear a robe. I don't know anybody else out there wear a robe. I wear a damn robe. I walk around in my robe, damn straight.
While you're mixing your foo-foo cat food.
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
in my
that's
robe.
awesome. Yeah, you're domesticated, bro.
Well,
give up the alley cat.
You better leave my inner Hefner alone.
Oh my gosh!
You're lucky I don't walk around with a pipe and a robe.
Yeah. But no, I think that I see it so much, dude. I really do. I see so many people. One of my best. I think I even used it in one of our thumbnails on the YouTube channel. But you ever seen that picture where it's like two large, like, I think they're like wire people, and they're sitting, their backs are facing each other, and there's two little kid like clay people trying to touch each other in between of it, like reaching out. You ever seen that one? It was basically two adults.
And if I did, I'm Dory. You know that. I forgot already.
It was basically two adults like trying to, like, they're obviously angry or mad at one another,
right.
And you have two little kids inside of them trying to be friends. Essentially,
that's so cute.
It was the same. And I don't even know where the hell I was going with that one because you said the whole Dory thing.
That's so sweet.
But I mean, I don't know. That to me, that's what it reminds me of, in the sense of
you're really trying to connect, but you're outwardly fighting, but inside you really want each other's love and attention.
Yeah, and that's where the whole alley cat thing comes from. Like,
an alley cat really doesn't give a shit about your attention.
No,
you do.
Yeah.
So stop faking it. Don't fake the funk.
Yes, on a nasty dunk.
Yeah, if you love me, just love me. Let me get over it. Yell at me, scratch me, do whatever you got to do, but then get over it. And then come purr and
and raise your butt up in the air when I touch it.
Yeah.
Oh God, where did it go wrong?
I'll purr for you, man. But it's like, damn, man.
Yeah. But I think, like I said, man, I see so much of that, though. I see so many people, like, on the the streams, and just people we've spoken to, the groups and stuff like that.
Proud to be aggressive. Prideful about being insensitive to others.
Yeah. That too.
Prideful of being hateful towards other people just because they don't agree with you. Just pride of not connecting with everybody.
Yeah.
And you're not going to connect with everybody.
But you know what I think
but you don't have to be mean to people.
Well, what I think is funny is the same people oftentimes I see are proud of not connecting will be the same people complaining that they can't be connected. You know what I mean? I see that a lot.
Yeah.
Like and so it's kind of like if you can't beat them, join them, I guess. Like instead of just being honest and saying, you know what, maybe I don't know how to connect.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to learn to get better.
There's no good men out there.
Yeah. Yes, there is.
That's like going to a lake and say there's no fish out here because I didn't catch anything.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, have you ever gone? You know why I don't like fishing? Because I suck at it. I just do. I suck at fishing.
No, there's just
some
no
people
fish
just
in
need to admit I suck at it. My picker's broke. I pick all the wrong people.
Sure.
Just like I suck at fishing. I go fishing. I don't know what lure to use.
Right.
I don't. If it has a hook, and if I put something gooey on it, I'm thinking you're supposed to freaking like it.
Yes.
So I go,
and nothing happens. There's obviously no fish in there.
And then if I catch something, it's like something itty bitty and ridiculous.
It's something you got to throw back.
I'm gonna throw it back anyway. I ain't eating that crap. You could have 3 eyeballs.
Yeah, it's shark, dude. That was so good.
Well, I'd eat that. I would. Eat that.
But no, but I see that so much. I'll see the same people complaining about there's no good men or there's no good women.
Right.
I'm so proud.
All
of the
women
fact
are this, or all guys are this.
Yeah, I'm so proud, essentially, and I'm so right about not connecting. Then, I desperately want connection.
Yeah,
those things aren't compatible. They really aren't. Go ahead. You got a thought. Go ahead.
Oh no. I was gonna take it even further. Because you always say I'm one of the 1%ers, or say all rich people are this. You know what bothers me is, and I am not a rich person, but it bothers me that every movie makes rich people out to be bad. What bothers me is it's rich people making the frickin' movie.
Was Pretty Woman? He wasn't bad though, right? I had to find the one.
Did you?
I had to find the one.
But at first he was a jerk.
No, he wasn't. Was he?
I think he started off and then like she softened him up or something like that. He acted jerky. In other words, they always make rich people like, if you want to look. Here's the thing. Like I joke with Dana. I said it's always oil bad, big pharma bad.
Right.
Those for sure are never good in movies.
Veganism was great.
Yeah. It's all, if you're broke, you're supposed to always be happy and a good person, and if you're rich, you're always a nut job.
Right.
Like even on Meet the Fockers and the Fockers movies, like the conservative guy that's like has rules and like he's totally bad.
The circle of trust.
The circle. That's right. And then the one that's all loopy can have sex in front of the children. That's good.
It's horrible. Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
So it's even that stuff. It's like we don't even know how to be domesticated. We really don't know how to be domesticated. We're all domesticated.
Yeah.
We're all so allow someone to be a different kind of little pussycat than you.
Sure.
And stop being so aggressive and stop scratching everybody.
Exactly.
Is that the end point of the day? Stop scratching people.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And if I pet you, don't friggin' bite me.
Yeah, if the person's petting you, don't bite them. Like,
God
stop.
Dang it, man.
And be aware of when somebody's petting you and when they're trying to hurt you.
It's like the old, hey, have a good day. Hey, don't tell me what to frickin' do.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know why we value that so much, though, right? Like, as a society, do we just seem to value that, or at least outwardly, we
because
value
we
that
say we're anti-bully, but we actually love that.
Yeah.
We actually internally all want to be the bully.
Yeah. We all want to have that power.
You're also Bruce. I'm sorry. Whatever I did to you when you were younger, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But everybody out there that's so wounded from like they take everything back to high school.
Yeah.
Like, why does everyone take it back to high school? Like, oh, this is just like school. That was like 4 years.
Yeah.
You got 50
4 years of your life.
Yeah. How is something so that happened then so dramatically powerful that you're carrying it for the rest of your life?
And punishing everybody around you.
Yeah. And now you're making freaking computer stuff that I can't figure out.
Get off my lawn. Yeah.
What I'm saying is they all still want to be that.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't become the bully now that you're on the other side. Don't become the alley cat and go, oh, this is the way things get done.
Right.
This is the way you talk to me, so I'm going to talk like this to you. No. Be the way you want. Be
the
who
change you
are.
want to see.
Yeah, man, there you go. Don't bring that dude up. but it's like oh no, you meant Gandhi, not Michael Jackson.
No,
yeah,
no.
because it's like Michael Jackson lyric too. Yeah. But I misinterpreted it. But the point is that there's so much that you can do and you can be that is just who you are. Don't let this world change that. Don't let what's happening around you change that. Don't let it alter, and definitely don't let the media or any things that you watch or listen to change the realities of what you experience. For instance, I have peace in my neighborhood. My neighborhood is not the way that the news would like to say what's going on in the world today. No.
Yeah, but I think, you know what, though? I think you just touched on a pretty important point, and I know we're getting close to our time here. We got another 5 or 6 minutes, but well, actually, I did the sponsors early, so we got more like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
But you just touched on something I think we need to touch on.
What's up?
And that is, I think that there's a lot of people out there who truly believe that the alley cat version of themselves is the real them. They convince themselves that's just who. No.
Yeah.
You are domesticated. Yeah. Don't get it twisted.
Right.
You weren't born in a manger out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, some people might have been.
Not if you're listening to this, most likely. You were born probably in a hospital, or you were born with a midwife or whatever. Like, you were.
I wasn't cuddled yet. I was in an incubator for 30 days, so I wasn't.
My point being is
breastfed or cuddled.
You're domesticated.
I'm still working through those issues.
So, my point is, you're domesticated, and you've learned how to do these things. Trauma and pain has caused you to build up defense mechanisms to protect you from receiving any more trauma and pain, right? And so that is not who you are. That's what you do.
Right.
And so just like you learn to do that, you can learn to not do that.
Right.
And that's the takeaway for today, to be honest with you, is you are not an alley cat. You can act like an alley cat, but that doesn't mean that's who you are. And I'm guilty of that as well. Back in the day, I used to think that I was that aggressive kind of whatever, and it's still in me because I did it for so many years. It's like a permanent passenger on my ride here, and I could call to it when I need to. But that's not who I am. You can ask my mom. When I was a little boy, I was a loving, caring little boy. You know, things happen.
I'll say it again because that sounded so sweet when you said it.
Yeah. But my point is I learned through things that I went through how to harden up and how to kind of protect and be defensive and things like that. I learned all that stuff. That I hate it with a passion when people tell me, "Oh, this is just who I am." No, it's not. Like,
you adapted to be that.
Yeah, you
adapted to survive.
You are not a behavior. Right. You learn behaviors and you do behaviors, but that's not who you are.
And an adaptation is fluid. It's not. It doesn't freeze.
Yeah, but for some reason, we pride ourselves these days on adapting to the negative as opposed to adapting to the positive.
Right.
Like, we give more praise for the person who was the bullied who becomes the bully than we do the person who was bullied that helps everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's more... the movies do better if the person got their butt whipped early on in the movie, come back and kill everybody.
Right.
Than if the person who got their butt whipped early in the movie comes back and forgives everybody and creates a happy life.
Now, you know what I always think in that movie? Of all the innocent, like, military people, like if there's guards or if there's security, if there's something, and then the guy goes in and kills 50 people to save one, I'm thinking all 50 of those that had wives and kids and stuff, what about them?
Exactly. But people don't normally think of
that.
It's sad.
I think about, wow, that was a lot of murder, a lot of death to save one person.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Yeah, and so...
And then we go, yeah!
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're so fired up. We're so vengeance-minded. It's like, stop, dude. Like,
funny, man.
It doesn't really help.
That's Hollywood. That's Hollywood.
It is Hollywood, but it bleeds over to real life.
It bleeds over.
And it convinces us that that's who we are, and it's not.
Well, they want to... Look, here's the problem. They want to tell us that problem that's happening over here, that alley that does exist over here, is in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so it has a person walking around with a Starbucks cup thinking, oh my God, I'm in an alley, and it's like, wait,
you're not.
When someone tells me the way the world is, and I look around and go, look at your world. That's not the way your world is.
No, it's not.
It's not like that in your world. Like, remember when Colors came out?
Wow. Yeah.
Well, I know you were a little kid. All right, so there was this movie called Colors, and it was about gangs. And it was, the Bloods and the Crips, and I think people everywhere, including Arkansas. And that became an issue.
Little Rock.
Arkansas, Little Rock all of a sudden had gangs.
I remember that.
Because all of a sudden everybody's like, well, we have that. And all of a sudden it was red and blue everywhere. It's like, come on. You created alleys in areas that were domestic.
Yeah.
Come on. Not everywhere is Compton. Not everywhere is South Central.
Thankfully.
It doesn't work that way.
But yeah, I think but I think that's part of it, man. It's just we value our alley catness.
Right.
Because we feel because it helped us survive, it was just good for us.
Right.
And it's not.
It's a security blanket. It's a security blanket.
Yeah, it was good for survival, but it's not good for you.
Yeah.
It's not good for happiness.
But you got to admit, it's your security blanket, and it's mine too.
Yeah.
In other words, I feel comfortable walking around as wimpy and as honest and true as I can be, because I know at the end of the day I can handle myself.
Right.
And so I think it has a sense of security to it. So I think the people that go off the chain with it are people that are not secure with it.
Right.
Like, it really didn't work for them.
Right.
It wasn't a secure. It can't even be a security blanket because they feel like it's not even enough.
Right.
It didn't do enough for them. It didn't work because it's not sustainable.
No, it's not.
It's just like a drug or alcohol. It's not sustainable.
Yeah, it's very hard to keep that intensity up.
Yeah, it's a thing to do at the moment, and then back away from it, because at the end of the day, this is a domestic world that we live in.
Right.
And live as and what that means, domestic really means, is just allow yourself to love and be loved. I mean, in reality. I mean, that sounds a little corny, but it's true.
No, but it is true. Like, and the funny part is, I think that's what everybody wants to be happy, and everybody wants to feel loved and be loved, but nobody wants to admit it these days. Everybody wants to be so hardcore.
It sounds so damn corny.
And everybody wants to be so, I don't need that, whatever. Yeah, you do. Like, just stop. That's what's causing part of your problem, is just your inability to just admit it.
Yeah.
I'll admit it. I want to be loved and I want to love, for sure.
Yeah, for real.
It feels fantastic. It feels so much better than being angry does.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it just does. But anyways, I think that's, for the most part, that's our time. You got anything else you want to add before I go into the tips? We got like 2.5 minutes.
Nah. Nah, I'm pretty much
That was
done.
very well thought out, man.
I'm pretty much done.
Was that in your notes or something? Or?
Yeah. I checked off each box.
That's right. Which is funny because every time on the couch, sometimes I don't have anything. Instead, you say no. I feel compelled to just make something up.
Oh well, I'll do this.
No.
For the YouTube episode, I didn't show my face at all until now. So this is the second time in a row that I didn't show myself to the end. So how you doing, everybody?
Right. And I got to mention though, everybody can follow us on social media.
That's right.
They can follow the network on at WPSN99.
That's right. What
they
else?
Can follow us at the Dharma Guy.
That's
and
right.
The Dope Doctor.
Thank you very much.
And Now Matters More.
That's right.
And that's on social media.
Now the YouTube is complete. Now you can continue, and then we get set up for the closing.
Right on. All right. So as usual, as per every episode, if you guys have been watching them all, I'd like to give an action plan at the end. It's great to talk about stuff, but it's even better to give some sort of action steps. And so the first action step that I'll say for today is understand that we all have an alley cat. We all have an alley cat inside of us. You know, the alley cat is we all have that thing inside of us, that survival mechanism, that thing inside of us, the fight or flight. You know, we all have it. Even if you've never used it, trust me, it's there. You know, it might be dormant, but it's there. So don't act as if you don't have that. The second one is you got to learn when you're supposed to let the alley cat in or let the alley cat out. Excuse me. You got to understand moments that requires you to raise your aggression level or raise your intensity level when it's called for, and understand the difference. And the third and final one is on the flip side of that, you got to understand when your domesticated self is called for. And I'm going to say the majority of the time that's what is called for is domestication and kind of like the more relaxed, chilled vibe. Understanding the difference. So understand you do have an alley cat inside of you. Sometimes you got to use it, and sometimes you don't. And the wisdom is kind of discerning the difference between the two. And I think those are our action plans, man. That's all I got for today. I really do. I'm something means something to me. I think we all can kind of learn from that one. Are you done with the prepping now? All right, I think that's all we got, guys. So now that you know better, do better. Peace. Are you still here? What are you doing? I told you, go do better.